up to their eyes or balance carefully on their nose. What if clear vision could be something you could carry with you? And so, with patient hands and a curious mind, the first real glasses were made. They were very simple tools, 2 round pieces of glass, each inside a small wooden or metal ring. The 2 rings were joined at the top like a tiny bridge. The wearer balanced them on the nose or held them in one hand. There were no arms, no sides, nothing to hold them to the face. But none of that mattered in that first moment, because for the first time in human history, a person could look through 2 small pieces of shaped glass and see the world clearly. Could you imagine that moment, my friend? That quiet and extraordinary moment when someone first looked through those lenses and gasped because the world was suddenly sharp and real again. That moment was the beginning of everything. That moment changed the world, one pair of eyes at a time. Word spread quickly, first among monks and scholars in their quiet monasteries, then among merchants and traders who needed to read letters and count numbers, then among writers and thinkers, then among kings and wealthy rulers who could afford fine things. Everyone who struggled to read or to see clearly wanted a pair of these new glass tools. The discovery moved like a quiet fire, passing slowly from city to city, from country to country, from one pair of curious hands to the next. Glassmakers in the city of Venice, Italy, became very important. Venice was already famous around the world for its beautiful and delicate glass. Now its glassmakers had a new and deeply meaningful job. They made glass lenses carefully and slowly, one at a time, by hand. Each pair of glasses was unique, and because they were made by hand with such care and skill, they were expensive. Only wealthy people could afford them at first. Poor people with weak eyes still had to struggle, just as they always had. But the idea was alive and growing, and people were beginning to understand something very important. They noticed that the shape of the glass mattered greatly. A thicker and rounder lens helped people who could not see things up close. A thinner and flatter lens helped people who could not see things far away. This was a beautiful and significant discovery, because it meant that glasses were not one simple tool for everyone. They were something personal, something made for each person's own eyes. And this quiet understanding would push the story of glasses even further forward into the future. Hundreds of years passed. Glasses improved slowly but steadily, one small and careful step at a time. By the 1600s, craftsmen had added a wonderful new feature to glasses: long, thin arms made of metal or wood that extended from the sides of the frame and rested gently over the ears. This made glasses much easier and much more comfortable to wear throughout the day. No more balancing on the nose, no more holding up with one tired hand. Now a person could wear their glasses freely and go about their whole day without thinking about them. Glasses were no longer just tools for reading at a desk. They were tools for all of life. Then came the 1700s, and with that century came a remarkable and creative man in America who had a very familiar problem with his eyes. His name was Benjamin Franklin. He was many things: a writer, a scientist, a leader of his country, and a man who could not see things nearby, and also could not see things far away. He needed 2 different pairs of glasses. He had to keep changing from one pair to the other many times throughout the day. It was slow. it was tiring, and it was frustrating. And so, Benjamin Franklin did what truly creative and curious people always do. He stopped. He thought carefully. He experimented with patience. And then he found a solution. He cut 2 different lenses in half. He placed the lens for seeing far away at the top of the frame, and he placed the lens for seeing nearby at the bottom. Both lenses together in one single elegant frame. He called these new glasses bifocals, and this simple, quiet, and clever idea was a small but important revolution. 1 pair of glasses, 2 different lenses, 1 beautiful solution. An idea that is still used by millions of people around the world right now, today. By the 1800s, the world was changing quickly. New machines were invented in factories, new tools were built, and the world of glasses changed with everything else. Before, every lens had been made slowly and carefully by hand, 1 pair at a time. Now, machines could shape and polish lenses much faster and with great consistency. And when something can be made faster, it becomes less expensive. And when something becomes less expensive, more people can have it. For the first time in history, ordinary people could afford glasses. A farmer who struggled to see his fields and his tools clearly. A teacher who could not read her own lesson books without pressing them close to her face. A young child sitting quietly in a classroom, staring at the blackboard with confusion, seeing only a soft and frustrating blur. Now, each of these people had a real chance. A simple pair of glasses could change their lives completely. Think about what clear vision truly means for a child at school. If a child cannot see the blackboard, learning becomes very hard. Reading becomes a struggle. Everything feels more difficult. Confidence disappears. But give that child a pair of glasses, and suddenly the whole room becomes clear. Every letter, every number, every word the teacher writes with care. That child's confidence grows. Their love of learning grows. Their whole future becomes brighter. This happened millions and millions of times across the world. Quietly, slowly, but very powerfully. 1 pair of glasses at a time, the world was changing. And so, my friend, we reach the end of today's story. The story of glasses. The story of how human curiosity, patience, and creativity changed the world, 1 small and careful step at a time. Today, more than 4 billion people around the world wear glasses or contact lenses.